Hi guys, and welcome to the Family Fudge. Today I have 4 really tasty and pretty unique lunch ideas to share with you. These lunch ideas were sent to me by some of my awesome subscribers from all over the world. I think it is super interesting to see all the different things people enjoy for lunch. So if you're looking for some fun lunch ideas, stay tuned. Okay guys, now I'm kicking things off with a lunch idea sent in by Caitlin. She is 12 years old and is from New Jersey. Now for her lunch today, I'm going with a colorful taco theme. And what better to go with a taco theme than tacos, right? But instead of just regular tacos, Caitlin's requested a taco salad. Now there are lots of different ways that you can make taco salad, but for today's lunch, I'm starting with some seasoned ground beef. I just cooked this up in a pan. I added a little bit of salt and pepper and plenty of taco seasoning. So now that I have this piping hot, I can go ahead and add it into the thermos. And this time I'm going to go ahead and use my funnel so that I can get this meat in here without spilling it everywhere. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday's video, but I had an epic fail when I was trying to get mac and cheese into a thermos. Yeah, so none of that today. I'm using a funnel. So now I'm just going to screw my lid on tight and move on to the rest of the taco salad. In this larger section of the lunchbox, I'm going to go ahead and add as much salad mix as I can fit. And as you guys can see, I'm totally keeping the ingredients for this taco salad separate. And the idea is that come lunchtime is when you actually assemble the salad. That way it can stay nice and fresh and won't get all soggy. So now that I've added all of the lettuce in here, I've left just enough space for some tortilla strips. These are going to add a nice crunch to the salad. I'm also going to be including some tomatoes. I went ahead and just cut those up into smaller pieces. And then I'm also going to be adding plenty of cheese. And this is actually taco blend cheese. So this is a mixture of cheddar, Monterey Jack, and Asadero cheese. Now just for fun, I went ahead and added 2 food pics into here. One says Fiesta Time and the other one says Olé. Now moving on over to the side of this lunchbox, it's time to add some fruit. And for Caitlin's lunch today, I'm going to be putting together a fruit salad. For this, I'm adding watermelon, mandarin oranges, and banana. I think that's a delicious and colorful combination. Now I am keeping this fruit salad pretty simple, but I do want to go ahead and cut it all up into bite-sized pieces. That way it fits better into the lunchbox. So now I'm going to nestle this down into the lunchbox and then move on to a special treat. For Caitlin's lunch today, she requested a muffin with a little bit of frosting. I decided to go with some bright orange frosting with orange sprinkles. I think this goes really well with today's taco themed lunch. And then for Caitlin's snack, I'm going to be adding something a little bit spicy. Or if you ask my kids, a lot spicy. For her snack, Caitlin requested Takis, and these are just the classic chili and lime flavored ones. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on the side. And then of course I don't want to forget about that taco meat. And then last but not least, she requested something tropical. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in one of these passion fruit mango Capri Suns. Next up, I'm going to be making a lunch idea sent in by Amanda. Amanda is from Texas, and for this lunch, I'm going with a cowboy theme. And of course, my favorite cowboy is Woody. Now for Amanda's main course, I'm going to start by making something that is a breakfast staple, especially if you're from the South. And for this, I started by cooking some buttermilk biscuits. Now I do have to confess that I didn't make these biscuits from scratch. These are total cheater biscuits. But that is totally fine because I'm about to make these biscuits over the top. I'm gonna go ahead and add a generous amount of sausage gravy right here on the top. Now personally, I'm a huge fan of biscuits and gravy. And if you're looking for a really good recipe for these, I'll go ahead and link one in the description box below. My friend Fallon makes the best homemade biscuits and gravy, so definitely go check out her video. So now to finish off these biscuits and gravy, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of black pepper right on top. And then since I'm turning these biscuits and gravy into lunch, I'm going to go ahead and pack them into the thermos. That way they can stay nice and hot. Now moving on to Amanda's fruit. For her lunch today, she requested apples. And that's because she said when she was pregnant, she craved apples all the time. Now, I'd have to say when I was pregnant, the thing that I craved the most was probably peanut butter. But you mamas out there, let me know in the comments down below what kind of food you craved when you were pregnant. Okay guys, so for these apples, I wanted to try a technique that I've seen on Pinterest quite a lot. This is literally my first time trying to make this, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to turn out. Basically, you just take the apple and you lightly score the outside in a checkerboard pattern, and then very carefully using the paring knife, I'm going to remove half of the peel of the apple until I'm left with something that looks kind of like this. Now these definitely didn't come out perfect, but pretty good for the first try. So now that our apples are done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the veggies. For Amanda's lunch today, I'm going to go ahead and add plenty of these mini sweet peppers. And I'm going to stick to the yellowy orange colored ones because I know that those are her favorite. And then to go along with the peppers, I'm also going to add a small container of hummus right on the side. Perfect for dipping. For Amanda's snack today, she requested pretzels. So I'm just going to add a scoop right into here. And then for her treat, something I know my kids are a huge fan of, gummy worms. I'm going to go ahead and add just a handful of these gummy worms to this cute little snack ball. And then for her drink, Amanda requested sparkling water. So I'm just going to add this can of cucumber mint sparkling water right on the side. Now I'm going to finish up this lunch by adding just a few little cowboy accessories. These are so cute. And then that's everything in Amanda's lunch. Okay guys, now I am super excited about this next lunch because this request was actually given to me in person by a very sweet girl named Aoife. Aoife is from Ireland, but I actually ran into her at Disney World and I got to meet her in person. She was so nice. So for Aoife's lunch today, I'm going with a Minnie Mouse theme because that's her favorite Disney character. And for her main course, I'm going to start by heating up some pasta. Now I know Aoife is a huge fan of all kinds of pasta, but for this lunch, I'm going to try something new. I recently saw this ready-to-go pasta on the shelf at Target, and it looks really interesting. This one is called gemelli. I think it's gemelli pasta. Maybe it's gemelli. I'm not quite sure. If you guys know, let me know down below. But basically, you just have to pop this in the microwave for 60 seconds and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to turn this pasta into a pesto salad. So I'm just going to add a big spoonful of pesto and then mix it all together. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this directly into the lunchbox. This type of pasta salad is best at room temperature, so it doesn't need to go in the thermos at all. And then to dress up this pasta salad, I did go ahead and add just a few little balls of mozzarella cheese as well. So now that that's done, I'm going to move on to Aoife's fruit. She requested a strawberry, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these into hearts because when I met Aoife, I thought she was such a sweetheart. And cutting these into heart shapes is actually really easy. You just cut a little V at the top of each strawberry, and then I like to slice them in half. So now I've added these strawberries to the lunchbox and I've decorated them with a little Minnie Mouse ring. For Aoife's vegetable, she requested carrots, so I just added some baby carrots right into here. And to go along with these carrots, I'm also going to add a small container of ranch dressing, perfect for dipping. Now I'm going to scooch this lunchbox over just a bit to make room for Aoife's snack. For her snack, Aoife requested potato chips, so I'm going to go ahead and add this individual bag of the Ruffles potato chips. Those are the one with the ridges, of course. And then for her sweet treat, she requested brownies, so I'm going to go ahead and put 2 little squares of these cosmic brownies directly into this lunchbox. Now, I'm not sure you can get cosmic brownies in Ireland, and if you've never heard of a cosmic brownie, it's basically a regular brownie with rainbow sprinkles on top. And then last but not least, for Aoife's drink today, she requested water. And to go with the Minnie Mouse theme, I'm just going to add this really cute bottle. And there you have it. There's everything in Aoife's lunch. Now that brings us to Chris's lunch. Chris is 20 years old and she's from Canada. Now for Chris's lunch today, I'm going to be adding in a lot of horse-themed accessories because up in Canada, Chris is actually a horse trainer, which sounds like a really, really fun job. For Chris's lunch, I'm going to start by making her main course first. And for this, I'm going to need some brie cheese. Now you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you're a fan of brie cheese. Personally, I think it's really good. So let me know what you think. For Chris's lunch, I'm going to be building a brie grilled cheese. And for this sandwich, Chris requested brioche bread. But unfortunately at my grocery store, I couldn't find any sliced brioche bread. I was able to find a brioche roll and a brioche bun. If you've never tried brioche bread, it's really good. It's got a lot of egg and butter in there, so it's got a really good texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one for today's lunch. So the first thing I'm gonna need to do is cut the cheese. I'm just cutting this brie into long strips. These are gonna fit perfectly right down inside the brioche bread. Now to this, I'm also gonna be adding some blueberry jam. So this sandwich is gonna be sort of a sweet and savory combination, which I think is really tasty. And then the last thing I'm gonna be adding into here is a few strips of cooked bacon. So now this is gonna be cheesy and sweet and savory and smoky with the bacon in there. This definitely sounds like an interesting combination. So now I'm gonna take this entire sandwich and I'm gonna pop it into the oven. I'm gonna cook this at 350 for about 10 minutes or until that brie is nice and gooey. So while that's in the oven, I'm gonna move on to some veggies. For Chris's lunch today, she requested either Brussels sprouts or broccoli, so I decided to go with broccoli. And before I add it into the lunchbox, I'm gonna go ahead and steam it. And then after it's nice and tender, I'm going to season it up with a little bit of salt, garlic powder, and paprika. And I'm just going to mix this all together. So now this delicious gooey sandwich is out of the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and just place it into the lunchbox. In this front section of the lunchbox, I'm gonna go ahead and add plenty of blackberries. And to dress these up, I've also added a cute little horse food pick. And then in the back section, I can go ahead and add that broccoli. This is the one that I steamed and added lots of seasonings to. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and add in Chris's snack. In this separate liner, I'm gonna go ahead and add a scoop of rainbow goldfish crackers. And then I have just enough space left for a special treat. For Chris's lunch today, I'm gonna add several Oreo cookies. I'll just fit these right into here. And then to go along with the cookies, I'm also gonna include a little cup of peanut butter. Chris is a huge fan of taking the Oreos and actually dipping them in the peanut butter and then eating them like that. That actually sounds really good and I definitely wanna give that a try. And then to complete Chris's lunch, I'm also gonna be throwing in some Arizona green tea. And look at this can, it's like ginormous. And there you have it, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, out of all the lunches I showed with you this week, which one is your favorite? And then if you're looking for even more fun lunch ideas, you can click on either of these videos right over here. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.